A 4-year-old Shastra Vidya video is suddenly getting a lot of attention on this channel. So I thought today I would make a video that shows the link between Pekiti Tirsia Kali and Sanatan Shastra Vidya. Shastra Vidya comes from the Indian subcontinent and is rooted in battlefield survival and classical weapon traditions. Pekiti Tirsia Kali comes from the Philippines and is rooted in guerrilla warfare and close range tactics. Even though both arts come from very different places, they both share similar principles, and that's what we're going to try to talk about today. So the first principle I want to talk about is range. Now in Pekiti, the way we measure range is with our weapons. Generally, if Zarir extends his weapon and I extend my weapon, long range for us is where I can reach Zarir's hand and Zarir can reach my hand. Medium range is where I can reach Zarir's body and Zarir can reach my body with his weapon, and close range is where we can reach each other's body with our hands. Generally in Pekiti, the length of your stick or the length of your weapon is approximately the length of your hand. So from your armpit to your middle finger, approximately. We also our steps in the same way, and this is where the connection to Shastra Vidya comes in, where we're measuring distance or range, because for us they're different things, by our steps as well. So the way we think of it is that long range is 3 steps away, medium range is 2 steps away, close range is 1 step away. And the length of the step, the measure of the step, is the measure of your weapon. So again, if I extend like this with Zarir, if the weapon is the length of my arm and the step is the length of the weapon, then my first step is this much distance, right? So that's long range. Second step is this, that's medium range, right? So if I was here, that's medium range. And the third step, again, the stick is equal to the arm, so that's close range. So long range is 3 steps away, medium range is 2 steps away, and close range is 1 step away. Now Shastra Vidya takes this concept a little bit differently, where they'll still measure it by range, but because the body mechanics of Shastra Vidya are so different, there's so much of what they call spilling of mass and using gravity to move. There's something called a chapt and a thigh. And a chapt essentially means like a pounce. So essentially the way that footwork works in Shastra Vidya is that you're standing in what's called the stham or the pillar, where your feet are underneath your armpits and you are first spilling weight, and then your foot is catching up with you. The idea behind this is that you're not using muscle to move, and because you're not using muscle when you're wearing armor, it's a little bit more effective. And the second is that because you're not using muscle to push off, it's a little bit less telegraphic and it's a little bit harder for your opponent to read your movements. And so in Shastra Vidya, as you're spilling weight, the foot comes through the middle and you step. And based on the length of the step or the amount of distance you can cover, and also there are different degrees to which you bring the foot through the middle. Based on that is the amount of distance that you can cover, and that is the distance at which you can engage from. And in Shastra Vidya, because you are spilling weight and moving in this different way, you can often engage from much further away than if you were in like a traditional art where you're pushing off the ground, kind of like Pekiti. The next principle I want to talk about is this concept of offense versus defense. In both arts, because they're battlefield arts, if Zarir is hitting me and I block here and then he hits me again, and then I block here and then he hits me again, and all I'm doing is blocking, at some point someone is going to come from behind and kill me, right? Or one of Zarir's friends are going to kill me. In both arts, there is no concept of just defense for the sake of defense. Every movement is supposed to help end the fight. So even if I am doing something like this that looks very much like a block, both arts, or especially Pekiti, because Shastra Vidya has a slightly different take on this, Pekiti will go from protecting you to moving past the weapon so I can attack the body, right? Same if it's a slightly different kind of, let's say, quote unquote block. If he's hitting me, that's me still protecting myself, but I'm going to slide that off and then come back in there to attack again, and then I can maybe look to disarm the weapon and then attack, or whatever I need to do to follow up my initial stopping of the weapon. There is no concept of stop and then he attacks again, and stop and then he attacks again. That concept doesn't necessarily exist. Even if I have a shield, I'm not going to just like stop and then he attacks again and then just stop. Everything is attempting to end the fight as quickly as possible. An easy way to explain this is in the use of double weapons. Now if Zarir is attacking me again, I'm not going 1 and then 2, and then 1, and then 2. I am trying to, as he's attacking me in Pekiti, I'm trying to protect myself so I don't get hit and attack his arm at the same time. So if he's giving me an angle 1, this stick is protecting me again, and the other stick is hitting his hand, right? It can happen the other way as well. That stick is protecting me and this stick is hitting his arm at the same time. So we call these guntings or scissoring movements. And now once I've hit his arm, now I can start to attack the head or attack the arm again and then attack the head to finish. Shastra Vidya has a very similar concept in the use of its single or double weapons. As you can see, Gurdev is constantly monitoring my hand with the tip of his weapon. But this is a simple example of that concept. An important distinction though is that in Pekiti, I can and I often will have to make contact with his weapon, my weapon against his weapon. In Shastra Vidya, you try to avoid that as much as possible. You're always looking to connect the weapon to his arm and then finish, or go directly to his head to finish, rather than having to go weapon to weapon, because the idea is you don't necessarily want to dull the weapon. I'd like to take a quick break in this video to tell you a little bit about the upcoming seminar with Gurdev Nidar Singh that's going to happen here at the LightHaven premises in Goa next January, or this coming January 22nd to 25th. If you'd like to attend or if you'd like more details, please do email us in the email given below. We do also have a special course happening over here, which is a 2-week course where you spend the first week training in Pekiti Tirsia Kali with me, and then you spend the next week training in Shastra Vidya with Gurdev. This is the first time we've ever done something like this, and we only have 3 residential slots for this, where you live in the school and you train here, and there's food included and stay and training included. So if you'd like more details about that, also please send us an email in the email address down below. Now back to the video. In both arts, there is an emphasis on attacking the weapon limb. In Pekiti, actually in both arts, we have this sense of exposing or baiting. So in Pekiti, we call this a low load or a down load, whereas in Shastra Vidya, you call this offering your head to the goddess. And basically what you're saying is, hey, look at my head, isn't it a nice juicy target for you to hit? And because I know where his attack is going to come, in both arts you use that as a bait to get them to attack that target and then hit the hand. So in Pekiti, you'll do something like this. He's attacking my head, I'm moving out of the way and then cutting his arm. The next principle we're going to talk about is timing. In both arts, there is a concept of attacking him before he attacks, attacking him as he's attacking, and then in Pekiti at least, you're attacking him after he attacks. In Shastra Vidya, I'm not sure that that principle, the third one, necessarily exists, because the idea is that the thought is that it's a little bit inefficient. But before the attack means that if I'm facing him, as soon as I feel that sort of intent, of that violent intent from him that he's about to hit me, is when I'm attacking. So if me and Zarir are moving, I feel he's going to attack me and I'm going to attack. Now, of course, a lot of this depends on correct positioning, correct range, correct timing. Another example of this in Pekiti, if Zarir comes a little bit closer, is this idea of contradas. So he's giving me an angle 1, he's coming to cut my neck, and I am using that extension to cut his arm, like we spoke about before. But instead, if I stay here and I cut his arm, I'm going to get hit. So I need to move out of the way. So maybe I move backwards, maybe I move sideways. It depends on what it is that I want to do. But if I am using this backhand strike to cut his arm, let's say he cuts me, his arm is gone, right? So I need to time it correctly. And the way that you're going to do that is, before his strike is started, I'm already attacking his arm. That's the thought process. So go before I see him tense up, and that's when I start my attack, so that I'm able to cut his arm at the right time. So for us, we think of this as striking before his attack. During his attack in Pekiti is what I showed earlier, where he's giving me an angle 1 and I'm stepping back and cutting his hand. So I'm making contact with his arm when it's most extended. This means that I don't necessarily need to have too much power in this, because the power is coming from him. I'm just making contact with it at the correct time. Shastra Vidya has a very similar concept, except it uses a lot more positioning and movement of the body to kind of stay ahead of almost his thoughts. So before he's able to strike, I am in the correct position, or well, Gurdev is in the correct position. I am not good enough to do this, but Gurdev is in the correct position and he's striking while I am still thinking about striking. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, if you learned from what you saw, please do like and share this video. If you have any comments or questions, please do leave that in the comments down below. Please do subscribe to the channel. All of these things really do help out the school and the channel a lot. A huge thank you to everybody on our YouTube memberships and everybody on our Patreon page. Thank you guys so much for your support. If you'd like to know more about the exclusive content that we offer on either of the pages, check out the links in the description down below. Thank you Zareer for helping. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next video.